Carlos Alcaraz continues to dazzle the tennis world with performances that seem from another planet. At the US Open he once again showcased his power, dispatching Luciano Darderi with an ease that left everyone speechless. However, beyond the result, there was a key moment that raised alarms. During the match, the Mercian felt discomfort in his right knee, and his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, did not hesitate to send him a warning: play smart to avoid unnecessary risks. Let's review exactly what happened and why that warning was so important. The duel against Luciano Darderi seemed like just another formality for Carlos Alcaraz, who had previously dismantled Mattia Bellucci in just 1 hour and 36 minutes. Against the world number 34, he repeated the formula: intensity, aggression, and precision. In 1 hour and 44 minutes he wrapped up the match with scores of 6-2, 6-4, 6-0. But in the middle of that avalanche of winners came the scene that worried his fans: the right knee required medical attention. With the scoreboard at 6-2 and 5-4, Alcaraz requested the presence of the physiotherapist. He refused a bandage but accepted a massage to release tension in the area. His return to the court showed some caution in movement, though without losing the competitive spark that defines him. From that point on, he strung together a 7-0 run that erased any doubts. Ferrero, from the stands, asked only one thing: move with your head, taking care with his footwork and avoiding unnecessary efforts. The warning made perfect sense. Alcaraz is at a moment of physical and mental peak, but the demands of a Grand Slam always take their toll. Every gesture counts, every point can be decisive for the tournament's future. Ferrero knows that his pupil's best weapon is not only his power but also the ability to manage energy at the right times. That management can make the difference between a brilliant victory and a physical problem that complicates his path. Beyond the knee, Alcaraz's numbers in this match were devastating. He tallied 31 winners and committed just 12 unforced errors. He lost his serve once, in the second set, but responded immediately with force. On serve he was impeccable, conceding only 2 points in the first set. Absolute dominance that left no hope for Darderi, who was making his professional circuit debut against Alcaraz. The Mercian will now face the Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht, with a favorable record of 3-0. He already knows what it's like to beat him at the US Open, in 2021, and that confidence will be key in the next round. However, the priority is to arrive in perfect physical condition. The knee, although apparently not serious, will be a point of focus in the upcoming training sessions. Experience teaches that a minor detail can turn into a serious obstacle if not taken care of in time. Alcaraz reached his 80th Grand Slam victory, becoming the 4th youngest player to achieve it. A milestone that reflects not only his talent but also the consistency he has maintained since his first steps at the elite level. This US Open already adds up to 20 career wins, and this season's numbers are impressive: 57 victories in 63 matches, with a 42-2 record since April. An overwhelming pace that seems unstoppable, except for the warning from his own body. Ferrero's call for calm encapsulates the relationship between player and coach. Alcaraz has youth, strength, and hunger. Ferrero has the experience to ration each resource. Together they form a duo that has proven capable of winning on the toughest stages. This time, the message was neither tactical nor strategic, but a reminder that health is the greatest asset. Playing smart also means thinking about the whole tournament, not just one match. His rival, Luciano Darderi, arrived with high morale after his best season, with titles in Marrakesh, Bostad, and Umag. However, the difference on court was overwhelming. Alcaraz not only beat him, he outclassed him in every aspect of the game. That superiority paradoxically allowed the Spaniard to manage the tempo. He could choose when to push, when to conserve, and when to listen to Ferrero's voice. That ability to adapt is what turns great champions into legends. The Mercian later confessed that he felt a pinch, a fleeting warning that did not progress. It lasted 5 or 6 points, then it went away, he explained calmly. He showed no excessive concern, though he admitted that in long tournaments, physical setbacks always arise. His immediate goal will be to take care of the area, avoid overload, and maintain confidence. His words conveyed reassurance, but also made clear that there is no room for complacency. Beyond the physical, Alcaraz also spoke about the match's unusual schedule, played at 11:30 in the morning in New York. Not common for him, as he admitted having to fight more against sleep than against his rival. The goal was to be awake, he said with a laugh. That anecdote reflects how even champions must adapt to seemingly minor circumstances that nonetheless influence performance. Concentration is worked on just as much as shot making. The crowd, witness to another exhibition, surrendered to the young Spaniard's talent. Each point was a display of creativity, power, and courage. The knee was just a fleeting shadow in a morning of overwhelming tennis. What impressed most was his ability to maintain his level without distraction, even when his body sent signals. That determination is why experts say Alcaraz doesn't just play tennis, he reinvents it on the fly. The next challenge will be greater, because each round of a Grand Slam demands more. Arthur Rinderknecht arrives in good form after defeating his compatriot Benjamin Bonzi, but he faces a mountain named Alcaraz. The head-to-head is clear, but tennis is not about statistics, it's about moments. And in that context, Ferrero's warning gains even more value. It's not just about winning, but about winning smartly, always keeping the final goal in mind. The match against Darderi left several lessons: Alcaraz's superiority, the demands of a tournament like the US Open, and the importance of listening to the body. With his warning, Ferrero reminded that success depends not only on power, but also on prudence. That mix of youth and experience is what makes this duo continue to write history in tennis. The knee, for now, seems to be just a scare, but it will serve as a reminder that every detail matters. Meanwhile, Alcaraz's numbers and game continue to astonish the world. His path goes on, and if he maintains the balance between ambition and care, he can write another golden page in New York. Sinner, Alcaraz is entertaining and fantastic to watch, and that's what people like. The Italian, who defeated Popyrin with no trouble in the second round of the US Open, praised the Spaniard's tennis and also spoke about the challenges he will face in his match against Shapovalov. Jannik Sinner continues with his sledgehammer, crushing every rival that steps onto the Arthur Ashe. The Italian had a demanding second round at the US Open against Alexei Popyrin, but he pulled through without much trouble, 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. As of today, that fever that left him KO in Cincinnati is behind him, and the world number one is back to his most devastating tennis, the one he shows at Grand Slams and that only Carlos Alcaraz has managed to neutralize. Speaking about his great rival on the circuit, the Italian had no hesitation in praising both the game and the personality of the Spaniard, despite being very different from his own. He also gave his opinion on his next rival, Denis Shapovalov, on the different conditions between the Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong courts, as well as on the pressure of being the defending champion. Satisfied with his victory over Alexei Popyrin? It was a very, very solid performance. I think neither of us served very well today, so we had many rallies from the baseline, where I felt quite comfortable today, and obviously, I'm very happy to move on to the next round. Not underestimating Denis Shapovalov. It was a very tough, very difficult match. It was a few years ago and he has improved, and so have I. We are in a different position than 2 or 3 years ago, but it's going to be very, very tough, very difficult. He is a player with a lot of talent and enormous potential. So we'll see what happens, but I expect a very tough match and I'll have to be very careful. He's unpredictable. He has a great serve. Physically he is strong. He is very fast and has no weaknesses in his game. He can do everything, and that will make it very difficult. But I really look forward to playing against him. It's been a long time since I last faced him, so we'll see. It's going to be a new challenge, so I'm excited. I hope it's a good match, that's what we all hope. Every day the conditions are different. I think it's always very difficult to compare this tournament with last year's, because you don't remember exactly how you felt playing. But yes, I played 2 matches on 2 days and the conditions were totally different, because the first one we started under the sun. The conditions were a little faster. Today it felt more like an evening match because it was very cloudy and a bit cold, a bit fresh. But that's precisely what makes this sport so interesting. The good thing about playing on the center court is that there's not so much wind. Outside, there's a lot of wind and it changes a lot. Inside, more or less it always blows in one direction. There's a big difference between the center court and Armstrong, because Armstrong has an open section in the middle, so the wind comes in and changes. Delighted to have Carlos Alcaraz in the tennis world. He is a very complete player, no doubt. We've seen it many times, winning Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and here. That shows he can play on any surface. I saw his last match and he's playing very, very well, hardly missing any shots at the moment. So he has confidence. That makes it very difficult to play against him, because tactically you prepare matches differently, depending on where you play. He is the big favorite in every tournament he plays because he has many solutions and playing styles he can use to solve problems. But yes, there are many, many things that make it so difficult to play against him, but it's great for the sport. It's good to have someone like Carlos, entertaining and fantastic to watch, and that's what people like. It's great to have him. Already knows what it's like to defend a champion's title at the Australian Open. As I always say, I'm not defending the title, I'm always chasing a new one, because in every tournament you start at 0 in the first round, and if you don't play well, you're out of the tournament. I go after trophies or good results, and that's what I try to do. Obviously, I know how much is at stake here, in this tournament, and also at the end of the year, but on the other hand, I try to play the best I can. Then we'll see the result. The rest I can't control. Australia helped me a bit to understand it, yes, but on the other hand, the situation is different, the conditions are different, and the mental side is also different, because you grow from the start of the year and now you're almost at the end of the year. Yes, everything is a bit different, but I look forward to it, because these are great challenges, concluded a Yannick Sinner who remains on autopilot in his devastating version.